Good morning. My name is Patty. I am an astrologer, and this is your report for the week of November 9th, 2024 through November 14th, 2024. I'm going to try to get through this without too much stumbling and getting lost in my paperwork, but let's see what we can do here. This is going to be a relatively good week with one or two exceptions, but overall it's going to be a great week, and we actually deserve it after the last few weeks. All right, starting on November 9th, Pluto is still at 29 degrees of Capricorn, opposing Mars at 1 degree of Leo. Pluto's energy, however, is beginning to wax because it is about to move into Aquarius, and this will happen on the 19th. However, we still have to deal with a little bit of it. We all know what the 29th degree of Pluto means, so let's go straight to Mars at 1 degree of Leo. Mars at 1 degree of Leo is putting the total focus on standing up for yourself against a very formidable force. Doesn't matter who it is, what it is, or where it is. You are going to finally stand up for yourself and take a stand against a very strong personality or situation. And what it's going to do is give you a new sense of self, a new actual identity, if you will. However, this does not have to be an aggressive type of situation. The fact is that calm assurance will get you further than being hostile or aggressive in any type of manner. So just go with the situation with calm assurance and you will win the day. All right. We also have Neptune in Pisces at 27 degrees and Venus is at 27 degrees of Sagittarius. So this brings to mind the old adage, one bad apple spoils the entire bunch. We've all dealt with that. So basically, a rotten apple has disguised themselves as an ally. We don't want to do that. We don't want anything whatsoever to deal with that. So sort out the fruit and throw out the bad apple. You need to figure out who in your life is causing problems and trying to sabotage your success. Empty out your cart or basket and throw out the rotten apple. We all have that inner feeling or intuition that something just isn't right with somebody and we need to maybe distance ourselves a little bit. In this instance, you do not want to distance yourself. You want to absolutely end the relationship. Get rid of them, throw them away, because people are very, very adaptable, and if they feel that I'm standing because I'm tired of sitting, but if they feel like, if they get the feeling that, well, maybe something's just off with our friendship, they're going to find another strategy. So my advice to you is get rid of them. Just break the ties, break the friendship, break the relationship, and move on. You'll be way better off for it. Okay. Now, let's move directly into the minor grand trine that we're having on this day. The apex is on Neptune at 27 degrees. Neptune is sextiling Pluto at 29 degrees of Capricorn and is also, on the other side, sextiling Uranus at 25 degrees of Taurus. This brings an overwhelming feeling of emancipation. So you've gotten rid of the rotten apple, and believe it or not, you're going to feel 1,000 pounds of weight off of your shoulders. And I know that sounds almost ridiculous, but you never know. When somebody disguises themselves as a friend or an ally, and you just have that heaviness about you. Every time you're around that person, you have this absolute heaviness. And what you need to do is emancipate yourself from that heaviness. And after you've done that, you're going to feel like a brand new person. All right. So if in the past you allowed others or someone to be the decision maker or the leader, and all along And all along, you knew they did not have your best interest or the qualities to be the leader. Your decision to rid yourself of that rotten apple leaves you feeling emancipated and free. Okay, moving on to so this day is all about purging. Finding the respect that you should have had all along for yourself, and stepping into your own sovereignty and in your own resources. Trusting yourself. It's all about your own feelings and your own intuition as well as your own sovereignty. You've got this. In 10 days, Pluto is going to move into Aquarius and will remain in Aquarius for the next 20 years. This singular transit of 1 degree is going to change everything. And that's why you need to get rid of the rotten apple now. This is very important because it's the beginning of a new future for everyone. Not just on an individual level, but on a collective level. And as my report goes on, you'll understand this very clearly. Okay, the shift is not going to happen overnight. But a brand new focus will find its way into our thoughts, desires, and hopes. So, this feeling of emancipation is literally the beginning of the shift. All right. Pluto entering into Aquarius will bring our focus to the future. But instead of the future only serving some, the dawning of Pluto into Aquarius brings the future to the whole of mankind, and it will bring back peace, understanding, and generosity. And it's not going to be something that's going to happen overnight. I got to take my leg down, sorry. It's not going to be something that happens overnight. Pluto moving into Aquarius is going to be a complete shift of energy. What we have been dealing with for the last 15 years is Pluto in Capricorn. And that is 100% about, let me put it this way. Pluto represents Hades. Hades is the lord or the god of the underworld. And I don't know about you, but the way things have gone in society, especially corporate society, is that we have a large group of greedy individuals who are like Hades. They want to gather as many people as they possibly can and torture them and make them work for their own selfish gain. There is nothing that about Pluto and Capricorn that has been, if you do this for me, I will give you this. It's been, you do this for me, and if you don't, you're out the door. It's not going to be that way. It's going to take time. Don't get me wrong. Pluto going into Aquarius is not going to change things overnight. However, it is going to eventually move things into a direction where it used to be, where people were as important as the company. It wasn't just all about leaders and who you could and how they could manipulate and bully and even put fear into those underneath them, that if you don't do what I say, your job is gone. It's been that way for so long that people don't even realize what a good job is anymore. And so now, and even relationships and marriages, it's all been, and families, it's all been about who's the top dog and how much can I serve you. It's not going to be that way anymore. It is literally going to be that we all work together to serve a common cause, whether it's at work, whether it's at home, whether it's at in a friendship or a relationship. It's going to come together on a very even and fair scale. And it's actually going to be the way things used to be when we were, and that's what a lot of people want. We think back, especially my age people, we think back as to how life used to be, where you worked hard, you went home, and you spent time with your family, and you had dinner together, and all these things. And I see this for the future. And I would say this is 24, I'm going to say by 2030, it's going to be more the norm than what has been. All right. On November 10th, Mercury will be at 10 degrees of Sagittarius squaring Saturn and the moon at 12 degrees and 8 degrees respectively. This alignment brings our focus literally, I can't even read my own writing. Isn't that terrible? This alignment brings our focus literally to common sense and having an eye for details. This is where you literally need to read between the lines. So 10 degrees of Sagittarius exposes fakeness and deception. The 8th degree of Pisces brings front and center the importance of our role in society and partnerships, whether it is in a marriage, a business, a religion, a friendship, or even a parent-child situation. The moon at 8 degrees of Pisces is asking us to nurture and cultivate that relationship with trust, equality, and reverence. Each person has a role in the relationship, and trust begins when you allow the other partner sovereignty to make good decisions or not so good decisions. The thing is that people grow and learn and become better, not because somebody else told them what to do, but because they had the experience themselves. They either succeeded or they made a mistake and learned how to fix it. That's how people grow, and that's what we want. That's how we become successful. Everyone. Okay. Saturn at 12 degrees of Pisces, this is all about information and using that information to wield control or discretion. As a parent, all of us all too often make decisions for our children, not to control them, but to protect them. However, at this time, it is necessary that we allow our young ones to make their own decisions. And we want them to be safe, so we don't want to, give them a key to a motorcycle they've never been on and never ridden and say, okay, go across town and get me, something. No. That's not a good decision on anybody's level. But what you want to do is give them a key to a motorcycle and take them out to an open lot and say, here, I'm going to teach you how to do this. And let them, give them the instructions on how to operate it, and then let them go. Let them be. Let them learn. They may fall. They may skin their knee up but if you give them the correct protection, and if you've given them the correct directions, they won't have too much of a problem. I was 11 when I learned how to ride a motorcycle, and I never fell once. Okay. Because I had good guidance. But there comes a time when a parent has to allow them to make their own decisions, right or wrong. And instead of making the decision for them, the transition into guidance and support. And instead of making the decisions for them, transition into guidance and support. Okay. This can also be applied to marriages, partnerships, and friendships. Sometimes we have that friend that just likes to make the decision for everybody. Have a little talk with them. If we, as a partner, or a parent, do not trust others' judgment and have failed, then we have failed them ourselves. So what I mean by that is if you have not, let's say your kid is 13, 14 years old, and they want to go out with their friends without any chaperone or whatever, and you have apprehensions. Of course you do. You're a good parent. But the thing is that there comes a time when you have to allow your kids to make their own decisions and their own and go on their own. So if you constantly, for lack of a better word, mollycoddle them, they're never going to mature. Never. And you just can't have that. So you have to allow them to make their own decisions. It's imperative for their own growth and their own maturity. All right. On November 11th, we have Veterans Day. Happy Veterans Day to all of those who have served and have protected our country. We appreciate you. May the Lord bring you very, very many, many blessings. Okay. Today the sun is at 19 degrees of Scorpio, trining Neptune at 27 degrees of Pisces. This is a very powerful day that allows us to see others as they truly are. However, there's always that but. Be careful, because misinterpretations are very likely today. So what you see is not necessarily what really is. And you think you know the truth, and you think that first impressions are accurate. They are not. And that goes both ways. Maybe somebody's having a bad day and you're thinking, ew, she's got a bad attitude. No, they're just having a bad day. Something may have happened before they came to work, or somebody hit their car. It was just a little fender bender, but now they're all upset about that. The thing is that you cannot, and you should never, judge a person at first impressions. Okay. Or a situation. Don't forget that. Situations can be misleading too. All right. Now, on the 12th, this is the day. This day is going to be somewhat tough. The sun is at 20 degrees of Scorpio. The 20th degree is a Scorpio degree also. People are going to be irritable and on the defensive. Some even may be a little aggressive. Just ignore them. Today we will get a very harsh dose of reality, either on a singular level or collective level. A light will expose something that was hidden. We have collectively stepped into a new adventure, and because the sun is opposing Uranus at 25 degrees of Taurus, it will bring a new understanding. That just says it all. All right. On the 13th, Mars is at 2 degrees. This is an even tougher day. On the 13th, Mars is at 2 degrees of Leo. This is degree of the. This is one of those degrees. Remember last week or the week before, I told you about the 15th degree of Libra and how very important that degree was for people. I wasn't wrong. I was not wrong. And the second degree in any sign is also one of those very, very special degrees. And when it's in Mars, when it's Mars at 2 degrees of Leo, it specifically means it is representative of a king, a president, a prime minister, a judge, a very famous or powerful or infamous person or a nation. And Mars is opposing the ascendant at 0 degrees of Aquarius. So I need for you to understand that the second degree is all about someone or a nation, a very, very powerful nation. This could be a religious leader. It could be a president. It could be a king. It could be a corporate head. It could be somebody or a place that has extreme powerful influence over a lot of others. All right. Or somebody who is famous or infamous. It could be a criminal. It could literally be someone like Ted Bundy. I know that's a horrible example, but I don't want to go too far off the deep end here. But infamous people are, Jesse James and Billy the Kid and Ted Bundy and people like that. So let's keep moving on. I want you to understand this could be somebody that everybody knows and has heard of. It doesn't matter how old you are, everybody knows and has heard of this person. Okay, let me grab a cup of coffee. Aquarius represents society as a whole. The ascendant is new beginnings, the birth of something, but that does not mean in a positive way. Unfortunately, this opposition of Mars at 2 degrees of Leo and the ascendant at 0 degrees of Aquarius could imply, and I believe it does imply, some sort of an attack or the death of someone very powerful. And his or her death will affect society in a massive way. Now, a plot or scheme has been rooted because we have all of that energy from the previous days. And remember what I said, first impressions are not always correct. Oh, now this is starting to get to me a little bit. Being an attack on the homeland or the country or someone specific. This attack will come from a foreign enemy and will fall out of the sky. Now, the reason I say that is because Mars is in the 7th house. That's the house of open enemies, and Aquarius is an air sign, which means it's coming from the air. So if there is an attack, it's going to be from high above, and it's going to be from an open enemy, which is usually a foreign entity. A plot has been developed, and those with whom are involved aim to destroy and will try. However, I also believe that this will be not successful. And the reason I say that is because I believe, according to what I see in the stars, this plan will be intercepted or thwarted. And I can give you all of the placements and all of that stuff, and it means nothing to you. I'm just telling you what I see in the charts. On the 13th and 14th, starting on the 12th. Okay, on the 12th, 13th, and 14th. On November 14th, due to the escalation of the enemy and the plot, if it is not intercepted or stopped, there will be an explosive consequences on an epic level. Grander than the shot heard around the world or 9/11. I cannot say whether or not this is an out-and-out attack on our country or a person, but it is definitely an attack created out of fear and will affect the world. As I said before, I believe that it is imminent, however, that it will be thwarted before it actually happens. And we can just pray that that happens. But it is going to change our outlook because it's going to affect a lot of people in one way or another, whether it happens or doesn't happen. It's going to scare a lot of people. And I don't mean to put any fear into anybody, but the truth of the matter is that this is going to be no joke. All right. On the 15th, now I know that I said that I was going through the 14th, but I want you to understand the 15th is the pivotal day. On the 15th, there will be civil unrest. But the attack or attempted attack will unite us collectively. So that's all I'm going to say right now. I know I'm being pretty specific about things this time, but in the past I have not been specific, and it's left people a little bit, what did she say? What did she mean? Whenever you're an astrologer and you try to warn people about things, you don't want to scare them. You just don't want to scare them, so you try to say things in a more passive manner. I've been accurate on most of my readings. but it's hard to decipher. I know what I'm meaning. Just the last one I did last week, I did predict the outcome of this election. I didn't say it specifically, but I did predict it. And I said, I used the analogy of the 2017 Super Bowl and the team that was down and behind and everybody believed was going to lose came back and won. And that's exactly what happened. So I'm going to give you the blatant truth on this astrology report. I want you to understand, on a collective level, it's going to be a little rough. But on a personal level, this is going to be a fantastic week. Everything you hope for and everything you desire will come true this week. And all you have to do is be receptive. Do not be judgmental. Do not follow your first impression. If you go and meet somebody and you feel like, they hated me, they didn't like me, do not walk away with that attitude. Walk away with the fact that, yes, this is perfect. This is the way it's going to be, and they will sort out the bad apple. They truly will. And they'll know, they'll figure it out. That's what this week is all about. I wish you all well. Again, to all of our soldiers and sailors and military people, happy Veterans Day. God bless you all. And I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful day. Go get your free stuff. You deserve it. Goodbye.